All right, Holly, let's go ahead and we'll get this meeting started. I'd like to call to order the regular City Council virtual meeting
is being
for
recorded.
the evening of Monday, September 28th, 2020. And if we could all say the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge the allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Barb, will you call the roll, please?
Roland.
Here.
Bizzard. Bellinger.
Here.
Weiss.
Here.
Rhines.
Here.
Gilroy.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
All right, and I did receive a text message from Councilman Bizzard that he may be joining us late. Unfortunately, his work schedule was running late today, so there is that possibility that he might be calling in shortly. I am going to go ahead and move forward for an approval of the agenda for this evening if there's no changes.
Do we need to do a motion to approve or a motion to excuse?
Yes, we can, if you'd like to offer up a motion to excuse, and then we can acknowledge him if he does call in to join us.
All right, motion to excuse Councilman Bizzard.
Thank you.
Second, Rhines.
Thank you. Barb, will you call a roll for that, please?
Bellinger.
Yes.
Weiss.
Yes.
Rhines.
Yes.
Gilroy.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Roland.
Yes.
All right, thank you. And now I'm looking for an approval of the agenda for this evening, unless anybody had any changes to make to it.
I make a motion.
Go ahead, Dan.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
Thank you very much.
Second, Weiss.
Thank you. Barb, will you call the roll for the approval of the agenda?
Bellinger.
Yes.
Weiss.
Yes.
Rhines.
Yes.
Gilroy.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Roland.
Yes.
All right, thank you. We now have an opportunity for audience participation. Holly, Barb, did we have anybody join us?
No, there's no public present.
All right, thank you so much. I'll move along then. As you all can see in your packet, I asked for a proclamation for the Red Cedar Garden Club's 95th anniversary proclamation because you never know what the future holds, and I wanted to take the opportunity to recognize the Garden Club. So I will be contacting their president so that we can do a presentation. And I'm hoping down in front of the gazebo because it has all of the nice fall flowers planted right now. But I'll go ahead and read this for our public that would be viewing this later. And it's a certificate of recognition for the 95th anniversary of the Williamston Red Cedar Garden Club. Whereas 2020 marks the 95th anniversary of the Williamston Red Cedar Garden Club, which was organized in 1925 and federated in 1948. And whereas through the years, this organization of dedicated volunteers has promoted the love of gardening, awareness of environmental issues, and educations to its members and the community that support a healthy and beautiful place to live. And whereas the Garden Club has created a beautiful and welcoming environment throughout Williamston with flower displays throughout the community for the enjoyment of its citizens. So now, therefore, the Williamston City Council on this 95th anniversary and further urging all of our citizens to be cognizant of the many contributions of this organization's through these many years extends congratulations to the Williamston Red Cedar Garden Club on this 24th day of September 2020. So once I am able to contact the Garden Club, I will send out an email or have Holly or Barb do that to all council members in case they would like to be present during the presentation of this proclamation. Next, I am looking for council meeting minute approval for September 14th, 2020, unless anybody has changes that they would like to make.
Mayor Gilroy,
Yes.
on page 4, item 15, it can be completely removed.
Okay. All right.
It's, I
Duly
think it-
noted.
don't think it got deleted.
All right. I appreciate that, Holly. So there is that change that we will strike out item 15 on page 4 of the council meeting minutes of September 14th, 2020. Would somebody like to make a motion for approval with that change?
Mayor,
Yes.
it's actually the entire page 4, because if you look at the bottom,
Okay.
No,
Yep.
date approved is still good.
the what?
The date approved is okay.
Oh, okay. There's 2 signature spots on there. I see what, because we do have to adjourn the meeting, and then I adjourned public comment at 7:37. And then we came back into open at 8:13, correct? So we would still want to document both of those?
No, I think page 4 is just an extra page.
No, Barb, it says date approved at the top. That should be in there.
Yeah, that's
There's
true.
nothing on the page before, so it's just item 15.
So we keep the date approved at the top, but the item 15 below that on
Oh, I'm
page
sorry.
4.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Appreciate that. So with that change being made to the meeting minutes of September 14th, can I get a motion to move that forward?
Motion to approve the meeting minutes for September 14th, 2020. Smith.
Thank you.
Second, Bellinger.
Thank you. Yes,
amended.
Tim, as amended.
Yeah.
Jean, can you add as amended? Friendly motion? Friendly.
As amended.
Thank you. And no, you'll second that again, right?
I will second that, yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Barb, will you call the roll, please?
Bellinger,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Roland,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
All right. Moving along, Noah, did you have an opportunity to review accounts payable?
Yes, I did. I reviewed this wonderful package.
Great.
and didn't have a lot of questions this time, so I didn't do any emails to the rest of the council members.
Okay.
I didn't have anything to dive into. So with that, I'd like to make a motion to approve checks 73582 dated 9/11/2020 to check 7364 dated 9/18/2020, and also approve ACH checks 27A through 31A as documented on page 2 of December 28th, 2020 accounts payable in the total of $708,065.74.
Thank you, Noah. Did anybody have any questions? Tim, go ahead.
Sorry, I believe he misstated the number of the last check.
It should-
73634.
4.
For 9/18/2020, is that correct?
It should be 73634.
Okay. Thank you. And did anybody have any questions? I know I'm looking for a second, but before I look for that second, did anybody have any AP questions? Okay, I'm looking for a motion then, or support of the motion.
Support Weiss.
Thank you. Barb, will you call the roll for accounts payable, please?
Weiss,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Roland,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bellinger.
Yes.
All right. We're going to move along right now to our action items. We have 4 items on our agenda that need to have action taken. The first is the second reading of the Williamston zoning ordinance text amendments related to Article 6 on parking and Article 7 on landscaping and screening. And again, this is our second reading.
I make a motion to approve second reading and adoption of an ordinance to amend the City of Williamston zoning ordinance to revise Article 6 as to parking regulations and Article 7 as to landscape regulations, Rhines.
Thank you.
Second,
Support.
Weiss.
Okay. Thank you both. Are there any questions? I do not believe we had any changes to the second reading, so it is still the same as our first reading. If nobody has any questions or discussion, I will go ahead and ask for the roll call.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Roland,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bellinger,
Yes.
Weiss.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Our next action item is the MML liability and property pool election. You have a memo in there as to the candidates, and I believe we can re-elect 2 incumbents and 2 appointees to their first term, and there are 4 candidates. So I'm looking for a motion for that ballot.
How would that ballot go? Like or a motion go? Like motion?
Eugene, you make
Go
a
ahead,
motion
Holly.
you make a motion to elect the entire slate of candidates as presented.
Thank you, Holly.
I make a motion to elect the entire slate of candidates on the official 2020 ballot for Michigan Municipal League Liability and Property Pool, Smith.
Thank you. Looking for support.
Support Bellinger.
Thank you. Barb, will you call the roll, please?
Gilroy,
Yes.
Roland,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bellinger,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Rhines.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Our third item for action is the 1492 East Grand River Water Service and Main Abandonment, and we have a memo in our packet from Scott, so I'll turn this over to Scott.
Okay, thank you. It put together a pretty detailed memo for you. Trying to boil it down as simple as possible. There's an old main between Old Nation and Michigan Woodworking that we've evaluated. It's been problematic for the fire hydrants being struck several times, causing damage. It is very poor water quality. Michigan Woodworking has gotten very poor water quality. The line is oversized to the building because it used to be the Demer Corporation, where they used a lot of water in the past for doing metal cutting and so forth, which does not happen anymore. So for various reasons, plus the cost of replacing the fire hydrants and keeping that line running, it actually is better for us to probably abandon that section of line and put the money that would go into rehabilitating that line, which wouldn't solve the poor water quality problem for Michigan Woodwork, into an alternate smaller diameter service to the building. We've talked with Mr. Gustafson, and he would do some replumbing inside to take care of the new location for the service coming into the building. And we would also seek an easement for the future alignment of a water main that would route back to Grand River and cross the road to the west side of Winding River Drive, which would complete a loop and then provide like a looped backup for the whole west end of town eventually. But that part doesn't need to be done right now. So all we're asking for is the ability to work with Stevens Construction. There's a little drawing in the packet as well. And it's mainly the area where the green marks are pointing to is the scope of this project. And then this diagram had actually been put together for the modeling effort with C2AE just to make sure that they were clear as far as how things were to be modeled in the future. Any questions?
Oh, thank you. It's very thorough.
Yeah, very thorough. And this will take care of their water quality issue, I'm hoping, by tying them in on that backside.
It's the best solution, and I feel pretty confident this will take care of their issues that they've had there for water quality.
Great, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Scott? It's pretty straightforward, the work that needs to be done. So if there are no questions or discussion, I'm looking for a motion for this action item.
I'll make a motion for authorization for Stevens Construction to work with DPW to install a new 1.5-inch water service to 1492 East Grand River Avenue, Michigan Woodwork, and abandon 450 feet of dead-end water main and 2 broken fire hydrants at a rate estimated at $3,000 per day for 3 days. Estimated not to exceed 5 days with complications. Total approval amount not to exceed $15,000. Smith.
Thank you. Is there support?
Rhines.
All right, thank you, Dan. If there's no questions or further discussion, I'll ask Barb to call the roll, please.
Roland,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bellinger,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy.
Yes. All right. Thank you very much. And Scott, just let us know how that work goes. And hopefully that solves the water quality issue for Michigan Woodworking. Moving to our last action item, it is the LEAP Community Art Grant Artist Proposal. And so I'll turn this right over to Holly. And this is pretty exciting because we're going to have more art in town.
We were able to get this together very last second on Thursday. So I appreciate everybody's patience in getting the agreement today. The city attorney did draft the agreement based on the RFP and Kelly's proposal. It seems very thorough. We've already received the certificate of insurance from the artist today. We did get approval from the bistro owner, Nick. He said he loves it and can't wait to get started. The art committee met multiple times, and this is the one that they have loved, and I think it's going to be a really good welcome into town for people. They did have a few things that they wanted tweaked, but Kelly came through with that with 4 other design proposals, and the one on page 9D, page 2 was the one they finally picked. So looking for approval. As stated in the memo, there's 2 motions.
Great. Thank you, Holly.
Yep.
We had 4 great RFPs too, by the way. We had 4 very, very accomplished artists that brought their RFPs forward, and I'm excited to have that there at the south end of town when people come up Putnam.
I think this is good. It really fits in with the downtown district. It'll be really nice, I think.
Does anybody have any questions for Holly regarding this project? Again, this is fully funded through LEAP with a $10,000 grant. It is no tax dollars being put forward for this artwork. So I really think this is just, another step in the right direction of what can be done to, improve our downtown area. And I'm excited about it.
Yeah, quick question. So in the packet I got, I don't see the agreement. I love the fact that this project is happening. This is super awesome. I think it's a great, thing that's going to occur. Especially coming from Route 96 and coming into town and seeing that mural. We're approving, the proposal, and then there's a second motion to approve the agreement. Tim, have you reviewed that agreement so we can apply that proper deference to your decision-making abilities there?
I actually drafted the agreement based on the RFP. But if you like, you can, and I did submit the draft on Friday, and then the exhibit for the actual artwork was updated today, and I put that on the agreement as well. You could indicate in the motion that you're approving the agreement subject to review and approval by the city attorney as to form.
I would like to throw in that Holly actually did email all of us today at 11:58. So if you didn't have an opportunity to check emails, she did send out the agreement for us to review prior to. So unfortunately, because it wasn't in our packet, but she did send that communication out. So thank you, Holly, very much for getting those emailed out to us.
Yeah, I'm good with all that. I just want to make sure that it's all included in the final minutes packet and, what have you. Because
Yep.
Great.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And of course, I afford Tim all the deference in the world, and that's why we have Tim. So,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you. Who would like to make that motion then? There are two motions that need to be made for this.
I make a motion to approve the proposal for a mural on the Bistro building from Kelly Beekman of Center Street Studios in an amount not to exceed $10,000. Can I make these both at the same time, then we vote on them as one, or do they have to do separately?
Separate.
One, separate.
I'll second. That's rolling.
Thank you both very much. Barb, will you call the roll for the first motion?
Smith,
Yes.
Bellinger,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Roland.
Yes.
All right.
Can I point out one thing?
Yes.
The artist has requested a $3,000 deposit, so that does come out of city funds initially, but at the end, we'll get the $10,000 grant to.
So it's just, yeah. So it's a wash.
Mm-hmm.
And in the agreement, it states that it's all contingent on us receiving the grant money, so that we're covered with that.
We were awarded of it, but I think they have to get the final billing at the end. So.
Okay. Thank you. Who would like to make the second motion?
Bill and Dan.
I make a motion to approve the agreement between the City of Williamston and Kelly Beekman of Center Street Studios.
Thank you very much.
Second, Smith.
Thank you very much. Barb, will you call the roll?
Bellinger,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Roland,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
All right, that concludes our action items for this evening. So moving right along our agenda, we come next to discussion items, which we do not have any listed. Next would be correspondence received or information, which we did not receive anything. So I'll move right along to our department head reports, and I'll go right to Corey.
Hi, I just want to highlight one or two things from the written report for council's benefit. So the first bullet point there talks about the initial research that we've been doing into the topic of broadband internet access in town. So I'm hopeful that we will have something to bring forward to council as basically another background, and then with some next steps in October. I'm not sure yet if it'll be that first meeting or second meeting, but we're working through that. What I wanted to really highlight, though, was that there's a lot of research and a lot of examples of communities that have attempted to create their own municipal broadband network, which is a little different than what I think we were talking about. And so the other side of that, which is how do you actively go about recruiting private companies to expand, that's been a little bit more difficult to find case studies or research on. Probably the angle that is going to be most helpful is that the communities that have created their own fiber networks, in order to do that through the state of Michigan, they apparently first have to issue an RFP to the private sector to basically prove that there's no interest in coming to their town. And so that's the angle that I'm attempting to find some information on. There's a few communities that have done this, and interestingly enough, I would say almost all of those communities in Michigan also have an electric utility. So they have staff and they have equipment to run lines on poles, if that makes sense. And so that jump into running fiber isn't as, maybe burdensome as it might be on a municipality that doesn't have that. So that's just a general update that we're working through that, trying to find good information so that we can be well informed. And then the other thing I just wanted to point out is that we are finally starting to see the receipt of some of the CARES Act funding, as well as how the impact of the shutdowns is impacting the state budget and the pass-throughs to the city. And so I've got a fairly lengthy update in written format. But bottom line, I did want council to know that the state budget that was passed by the legislator, which is awaiting the governor's signature, does not cut statutory revenue sharing, and it does not cut the state's general fund transfer to the road programs. Those were the two pieces that there was some trepidation about, in particular, the statutory revenue sharing, which for us is about $40,000 a year. So if they had cut that, that would have been a major impact to our general fund. So that's been good news. We await, the governor's signature. I think by this Thursday is the start of the new fiscal year for the state. But that's been positive. The other piece of the puzzle for revenue sharing is what's called constitutional revenue sharing, which is driven by sales tax in the state. And that has performed surprisingly well through the summer. And so, we're going to continue to monitor that. We get an update on that every 2 months. But the initial information that came out from June, July, and August was that revenues were doing much better than anybody anticipated back in March and April. And in fact, there were sub-components that were better than the same period of 2019, which is interesting. And I think there's, research out there from the fiscal agencies that, the stimulus probably had a big part of that, people having extra money in their pocket from stimulus and unemployment checks and things like that. So it's been kind of fascinating to watch, but the bottom line is that we're still being cautious, but the revenue picture has been better than anticipated when we were sitting here, back in May.
Great. Thank you, Corey. I appreciate that update, as I'm sure all the rest of the council members do, to know that we're still going to get something, even though we don't know how much. But it is good to hear that they, right now initially have not made any cuts. So that's good. So keep us posted on, as you get more information. Does anybody have any questions for Corey regarding his report? Okay. Corey, again, thanks. I'll go right along. Chief, I see that you're here.
I am. I have nothing to report.
All right. Well, thank you. I do want to note, though, that the city did post that we are getting closer to October 1st, correct, Chief? So our parking on city streets ordinance will go into effect October 1st through end of March. No parking on city streets from 2 to 5 a.m., correct?
That is correct.
All right, great. Moving right along, we've got an opportunity for committee and subcommittee reports. Do I have any council members that would like to share any information from a recent committee meeting that you may have attended? Okay, I'm going to keep moving along then. Holly, do we have audience participation again?
We have Monica Schaefer that is here right now.
Hi, Monica. How are you? Glad that you could join us.
Doing good. I'm just sitting back listening in.
All right, great. Thanks for being here. I'll go around the board then and start with council member comments, and I'll start with Councilman Smith.
Sorry, no comments tonight. Thank you.
All right, Councilman Bellinger.
Just a question for Corey and Holly. How do you want me to return this? Do you want me to put it in the Dropbox like I did last time, or hand deliver all the stuff? What's the best process to get all the invoices back?
No, I think dropping it in the Dropbox, especially with all the rubber bands, is okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilman Rhines.
No comments. Thank you.
All right. Councilman Rowland.
None, thanks.
All right. Councilman Weiss.
Yeah, just that we were notified by Director Yance from NISA that they did receive some of the CARES Act money funding back, and he was successful in securing some grants for his firefighters. So that's positive for NISA.
Great. Thank you very much. As far as my comments, the weather is changing. Leaves are falling. So that's also going to affect our DPW, correct, Scott? We're going to have leaf pickup as we move through the fall. So there's the whole leaf pickup off the streets, and then there's the no parking on the streets. So we have a little action that'll be going on in town.
Yep, the leaf picking up will happen the latter half of October because we have water flushing to do just before that.
Great. Thank you very much, Scott. Appreciate that. That is it for me. So I will go ahead and move to adjourn this meeting at 7:31 this evening. Thank you all so much for joining.